I was in a large building. It was the house of a man who had made thousands of toys. The walls were lined like a thrift store, but these were all handmade. He had made too much and invited everyone from around the world to come visit. Everyone who came could leave with 2 items. My family and I went. We enter and we wander. I find myself alone, wondering where I am. I look beside me and I see a toy red bike, a functioning miniature, as most are here. It reminds me of a life I didn't live, and I decide to keep it. I pass by a shelf, and a few above me, I see a blue eye staring at me. It sits in a log with glued bark on the outside. It wasn't much of a choice, just how it was always going to be, me choosing this. I see a window. It's dark out. Wind rattles the old panes and slips through the cracks. I grab a red jacket laying beside me. I realize I should find my family, but I am lost. I lost track of time, lost track of the hallways. And I see the lady, the one married to the crafter, locking things up for closing. I hurry to her, asking for her to show me out. She grabs the objects I chose for keeping and guides me to the front door in a way that makes me wonder if she was ever a mother, for she had the same gentleness. At the large, old double doors, she hands me back my items and says, "You can keep the jacket too." I apologize, saying I didn't realize I had grabbed 3 things. She says I'll need it for the rain outside. I thank her and join my family waiting outside the doors. Everything is dark and foggy out here, lit up by the bright windows of the crafter's house. And looking at the eye in the log, I hug the jacket like I did my favorite red one I had when I was a kid. 5 months ago, I had this dream, and this is what came of it. I tried to recreate the log that I saw in my dream, the one with the eye in it, and as you can see, I didn't get very far, but that's what I want to try to do today. I want to finish this, because that log in my dream, that's the part that stuck with me the most afterwards. It felt familiar somehow, like the eye in the log was alive and like something I had met before, but at the same time the context was the dream was that it was something I had never seen before. But once I woke up, this was the most vivid part of the dream that I could remember. And that made me want to try to make it, because I realized that if I just bought a few supplies, I could do it. And like I said, that was 5 months ago. A lot of time has passed, but I finally want to finish this project. It's one that's been on the back burner for a while, and I want to do it with you guys. Okay, so first things first. We get all of the supplies out of the box. Let's give ourselves some light. Much better. Okay, so this is the base that we're starting with. Put that smack dab center. This is all of the bark I'm going to try to use for the outside, harvested from the hills in my backyard. This is newspaper for paper mache, air dried clay for the eye, Mod Podge, paper mache, brushes, hot glue and hot glue stick, more paint brushes, 2 other types of glue. It's some modeling glue, Gorilla Glue, 2 types of shears, scissors, pliers, and last but not least, plastic eyes that people use for crocheting. And that's everything in the box. So, the situation is that it's kind of late at night. It's around 8. It's It's around 9 actually. And because I don't plan on staying up very late for this project tonight, I'm just gonna do step 1. So I say we get started. Alrighty, so this is phase 1, where I make a paper mache shell. So I have the base that I showed you a moment ago, and this is actually made out of some cardboard and Christmas tree logs. Not sure what to call it. But for Christmas, my family and I enjoy getting a real tree, and at the tree lots we buy them from, they cut a slab off the bottom before sending it home with you. They always have these scrap pieces laying around, and it became a tradition to take a few home because they smell of pine for months after. Anyways, I've been hanging on to that stump for a year or 2, and I've been using it as a calligraphy pen holder, which will actually still be usable after it's finished. But I'm using some old newspaper and new Mod Podge to create a base on top of the already made base for everything else that is going to go on the outside. I'm hoping that the Mod Podge will strengthen the newspaper enough so that nothing will tear or break once dry. This was a rather quick process, maybe 20 minutes or so, but it was really satisfying to watch this half-finished project that laid in my room for months to finally take shape and become a solid object, rather than a hollow one. I have a bad habit where if I stop working on a project, it becomes really difficult to get back into it, which is what led to this log sitting forgotten in a bin. Maybe that's a neurodivergent thing that I have. But it's such a relief to finally complete this project. I love how it looks now, and getting to display it as a finished product of my creativity and my dreams, and shaking it makes such a fun sound. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Why would it make a sound? Because of phase 2. Now, I'll just come back to it once it's dry, and that'll probably be in the morning, so see you there. It's morning. Well, genuinely, it's more like it's lunch, because I slept in a ton, but I say we get dressed for the day. Alrighty, I think I'm going to wear these brown jeans that I have. Alrighty, we got those. Because I don't want to deal with my hair, I'm going to choose a hat to wear. I'm going to go for a classic black beanie. Nope, that shrunk. Doing the other one. Okay, beanie is on. Time to take this mic off because I'm going to switch shirts. There we go. Okay, this is the shirt that I chose. I've got it tucked in the back so it's not too loose. And now it's time to accessorize. Starting with my good old belt that has seen better days for sure. Sure, I'll do this necklace. Black and gold matches the belt. And now, a watch and a hair tie. I wasn't holding the mic. Alright, let's get this clipped on. Okay. That works. And did I do a get ready with me just to show off my fit? Maybe. Maybe not. Absolutely. But let's get started. Okay. This is what we've got from yesterday. We've got that shell on the outside. Okay, so I randomly just stopped talking there, but let's just get started with phase 2. I kind of left you on a cliffhanger there. But phase 2 is soda tabs. When planning this project, I was thinking of how the paper mache would make the interior hollow, and I had the idea to fill the inside with some kind of scraps to make it jingle when shaken. Now, I am an avid collector of silver trash, so I was really happy to find a way to use my can tabs. I cut a kind of doorway into the newspaper to drop the tabs into, which later I'll seal back up. Here I'm holding up 2 kinds of tabs, a golden one and a Red Bull one. The first is from Liquid Death tea cans, my favorite drink, and the second one, well, is from Red Bulls. I'm just going through all of the tabs to pick out the ones that aren't the original silver tabs. And then all that's left is to fill it up. But I need to ask you guys real quick, what do you even call these? Soda tabs? Can tabs? Pull tabs? Just plain old tabs? Whenever I refer to them, I feel as though I'm using the wrong name. I have the slight belief that the English language hasn't created the correct word for them yet. But with that done, and my being satisfied with the sound it makes, I begin sealing it back up. Okay, so I finished up sealing the outside, so I'm going to wait for this to dry, and then I'll be back to the rest. This is where my footage gets confusing. I don't have a lot of the footage that I thought I recorded, and that certainly shows with this random time jump with suddenly a ton of clay being on the log. Which won't be the last time that happens. But hey, we're at phase 3, we made it. Originally, clay and bark were going to be 2 separate phases, but I wanted everything to fit into 5 phases. 6 phases feels wrong when it could be 5. It's like choosing to set your volume at 26 rather than 25. But I'm using some air-dry foam clay here to do a basic layer over everything and make sure everything is level without any divots. Here's a time-lapse of me pushing clay. And that was yet another giant leap with the entire eye suddenly being done. I remember checking the angle while making the eye to make sure everything was good. Little did I know that I wasn't even recording. But hey, here's what it looked like at least. This is me doing a few touch-ups on the shape and eyelid overlap. Alrighty, time for the bark. This part was a bit awkward to record since I didn't have an overhead tripod yet, so in a lot of the angles you couldn't even see what I was doing. I cut those parts out, which is why there might be a few big jumps here as well. But hey, at least I recorded them, I guess. This is definitely the part that took the longest. The glue I used in the beginning needed a long time to dry, so I could only do the front part, then wait for it to solidify. If I were to turn it to the side, all the glue and sticks would begin to slip. Switching to a hot glue gun fixed that issue though. But while you watch me glue sticks on, I want to talk a bit more about the dream. I'm always curious about the symbolism that can be found in dreams, regardless of whether or not they're technically true. The morning after I had this dream, I looked up its meaning, and even now, half a year later, I'm still learning new ways to view it. But here's kind of the main interpretations I got from each subject in the dream. The crafter's house symbolized a space of learning and imagination in my life, where visitors leave with meaningful takeaways, potentially mirroring a stage of personal and creative growth. Getting lost in the house and then being helped could reflect how, even in moments of uncertainty, guidance can appear. The handmade log with the living eye felt like a powerful symbol of insight and intuition, something crafted with care that now holds a life of its own. The jacket connected back to my childhood, offering warmth, comfort, and a reminder that parts of my past are still with me, quietly supporting me. Altogether, the dream seemed to suggest that I'm assembling something, piece by piece, and that I already carry the tools, memories, and awareness to move forward with confidence and purpose. Even if this is all false speculation and has no real relevance in my life, I like being able to find lessons in fiction as well. The advice I took from this dream was to trust myself. That when I'm lost or needing guidance, that I have support from my own intuition, my past, or unexpected help from the people around me. It's comforting to think that no matter what, I'll have some form of help, even if it's only me that I'm relying on. There's something special about being able to trust yourself, believing that you can handle whatever comes your way, trusting your intelligence, your strength, your capability. Even when I'm not confident or I'm overthinking and stressing, I maintain an underlying belief in my capability to handle my life. In a way, this log brings me a similar comfort. The reason I added tabs on the inside so that it makes a sound was so that I could make wishes with the log. Even if it's imagined or just a placebo effect, it's reassuring to ask for help from my log. Okay, but really, I need to come up with a better name for it than just my log. That doesn't feel right at all. Maybe I could call it the crafter's log since it's from the crafter's house. I really can't think of any good names right now. If you have any suggestions, I would really appreciate your help in naming this. But it's time for the second to last phase. Phase 4. The goal here is to paint all the visible clay into blending in with the wood. I won't be narrating this part because I ran out of things to say, so enjoy some music instead. This is essentially done, but there's one last thing I have to do, and there's somewhere that I have to go for it, so I am actually going to see you there and go from there. Okay, I am here at a park by my neighborhood, and this is where I found a tree that could potentially be a birch tree. I don't actually know what kind of tree it is, but it has one of those birch tree kind of eyes in it, except there's only one, and I don't know, it reminds me a lot of the log. I like to come here to see the tree and kind of talk to it because it has that eye in it, and it kind of like the log, it makes it feel kind of sentient, and I don't know, I kind of enjoy the whimsical habit of visiting a tree. But because it has that eye that reminds me of the log, I wanted to grab some of its twigs and incorporate it into the project. I don't know, it just feels kind of special to bring the tree with the eye in it into the log with the eye in it, and just to give it that personal touch and kind of whimsical touch too. Okay, so, oh dear, it's not, okay. So the idea is that there is this, wow, the zoom in is so slow, but there's this one broken branch, and that's the one that I'm going to be pulling twigs from, so as to cause the least amount of damage. Okay, so I've got these from the branches, and then I also noticed that there's this branch on the ground, so I'm going to take this one home too. Finally, it's time for the last details, the twigs from the tree with the eye. And that is it, I finally made it. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I highly recommend turning your dreams into reality, both kinds of dreams. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you vibe with this video, consider subscribing. I don't plan on changing anytime soon. Also, any kind of engagement really does help, whether that be liking or commenting. You aren't obligated to, but you are appreciated. No matter what, you're always appreciated.